The city was broken. Black smoke rose from the shattered buildings. The sky above was red, heavy with dust. Long ago, this place was full of life. Now, only ruins and shadows remained. She walked through the wreckage with slow, weak steps. Her clothes were torn. Her skin pale blue and marked with dirt was shaking. She hadn't eaten in days. Maybe more. Time didn't mean much anymore. Her name was Lyra. She wasn't human. She was part of a species that once ruled over many worlds. But now she was nothing, just another hungry mouth hiding from patrols. Her own kind wouldn't help her. And humans? They were dangerous, angry. Most would shoot her on sight. But tonight, hunger was stronger than fear. Far ahead between broken walls, she saw a flicker of light of fire. She moved closer, slowly, quietly. Her stomach growled. Her legs trembled. She reached the edge of the broken building and peeked in. A man sat near the fire. A human. He looked rough, tall, with a beard and scars on his arms and neck. A rifle rested beside him. He was cooking something over the fire. The smell hit her like a wave, real food. Not scraps, not dry pills, real, warm food. Her mouth filled with saliva. Her body moved before her mind could stop it. She stepped into the light. The man saw her. He didn't move. He just stared. Lyra raised her hands, slowly, showing she had no weapon. I don't want trouble, she said in a dry, cracked voice. I'm just hungry. He still said nothing. She hesitated, then took one more step forward. Her voice dropped to a whisper. I'll warm your bed if you give me food. The fire cracked. The man's eyes didn't change. He looked at her like she was something. Lost, something already dead. Then after a long moment, he replied, You don't have to do that. Lyra blinked. What? He pointed to the ground near the fire. Sit down. Slowly, unsure, she walked forward and sat. Her legs almost gave out. He handed her a metal bowl full of hot stew. She took it with shaking hands. The smell hit her again. She didn't ask questions. She ate like a wild animal. The man just watched. After a while, she looked up. Why? She asked. Why are you helping me? The man didn't answer right away. He just stirred the fire. No one deserves to starve, he said finally. She looked at him. Even me? Even someone like me? You're not the one who started the war, he said. I can see that. Silence fell again. The fire popped. Lyra finished the bowl, then leaned back against the cold wall. For the first time in days, her stomach was full. Thank you, she said. The man nodded once. Then he stood up and walked to the edge of the building, scanning the dark streets with a small scope. Lyra watched him. You live here? He didn't turn around. Now and then, alone? He said nothing. She looked at the bowl in her hands. My name is Lyra. He replied quietly. Call me Cole. Another silence. The kind that feels heavy. The kind that carries pain. Then suddenly Cole froze. He turned his head slightly. His eyes narrowed. What is it? Lyra asked. Cole moved fast. He picked up his rifle and crouched down. Did anyone follow you? He asked. Lyra's heart jumped. I don't know. I didn't see anyone. Listen, he said, voice sharp. Stay low. She ducked. Then came the sound, metal boots on broken stone. From outside, someone shouted something in a strange language, then another voice, then pew, pew. Laser shots ripped through the walls. The fire exploded in sparks. Lyra screamed and covered her head. Cole returned fire, his rifle roaring in the night. Go! He shouted. Move through the back. She crawled, heart racing, blood pounding in her ears. More blasts, walls cracked. Smoke filled the air. Lyra reached the back hallway, coughing. Cole followed close behind. They ran into the dark, into the ruins, disappearing into shadows. Behind them, the fire died. The night was colder now. Lyra ran behind Cole, her legs aching. Smoke still clung to her skin. Her chest burned with each breath. They had escaped the attack, but just barely. They moved through the ruins in silence. Cole led the way, rifle in hand, eyes sharp, steps quiet. Lyra followed, heart pounding. Every sound, every crack, every wind gust felt like danger. After a long time, they reached an old metal hatch hidden behind fallen rubble. Cole knelt and opened it. A ladder led down into darkness. He looked at her once. In, she hesitated. Cole didn't blink. It's safer than up here. Lyra swallowed her fear and climbed down. The ladder groaned under her weight. The air below was damp and heavy. Her feet touched the ground. Cole followed, closing the hatch behind them. Everything went dark. Then dash click. A small yellow light turned on. The tunnel was narrow, lined with pipes. Dust covered everything. Old writing on the wall said, "Evac route. B for EarthGov use only." They walked deeper into the underground world. Finally, they reached a small room, old, quiet, sealed off with a thick door. Inside were blankets, crates, water tanks, and something that looked like a tiny stove. Lyra stared. "You live here?" Cole put down his rifle. "Sometimes." She looked around. "This place, it's human-made?" "Before the war," Cole said. "Emergency shelters. Most people forgot they exist." He handed her a water bottle. "Drink, then rest." She drank like she hadn't seen water in weeks. After a pause, she looked up. "You saved me again." Cole sat down against the wall. "You don't need to thank me." Lyra tilted her head. "Then why do you do it?" He didn't answer. She watched him. "You hate my kind, don't you?" His jaw tightened. "Your kind killed my team, my brother. Maybe even my daughter." Silence filled the room. Lyra lowered her gaze. "I wasn't part of that war." "I know," Cole said. "But war doesn't care who was or wasn't. It just takes everything." She wrapped the blanket around herself. "I didn't mean to." "Bring them to you, I swear." "I believe you," he said. She blinked, surprised. "You trust me?" Cole didn't smile, but his eyes softened slightly. "I trust actions. You could have run." "You didn't." Lyra leaned back against the wall. The heat from the tiny stove warmed the space. The first real warmth she had felt in weeks. "I've never met a human like you," she whispered. Cole chuckled once low, bitter. "Most humans aren't like me anymore." He pointed to a shelf filled with old items, tools, wires, books. Lyra walked over and picked up a worn photograph. A human child stood in a field, smiling, a woman behind her. "Both gone now," Lyra guessed. "Your family?" Cole looked away. "Was." She didn't ask more. Instead, she sat beside the photo, quietly. Her eyes fell on a broken communication device on the floor, old, cracked, but not dead. Her fingers moved over it, slowly. She had fixed tech like this before. "May I?" she asked. Cole nodded. She began working wires, batteries, pieces. After a while, static buzzed through the speaker. Then a voice. Human-sighted. Code 9B Alpha. Last seen Sector 12 ruins. Bounty 10,000 credits, alive or dead. Lyra froze. Her breath caught in her throat. She turned the volume down, quickly. Cole hadn't heard it. He was already half asleep, sitting by the fire with eyes closed. Her hands trembled. 10,000 credits. Enough to buy safety. Enough to escape this planet. Enough to live. She looked at Cole. He had fed her, saved her, trusted her. Lyra closed her eyes. "Trust is a dangerous gift," her old commander once said. "Only fools give it away." But maybe, for the first time in her life, she wanted to be a fool. She quietly turned off the signal. Then she whispered into the dark, "I won't sell you." Cole stirred but didn't wake. Lyra curled into the blanket. The photo sat beside her. She stared at it as sleep slowly pulled. Her under. Far above, the city burned, soldiers hunted. Drones flew, but deep underground, in a room full of shadows and old ghosts, something rare had been born. Not love, not peace, just a little trust. And that was enough for now. The shelter was quiet. No gunfire, no explosions. Just the slow sound of breathing, two souls still alive, hidden beneath a dying city. Cole stood at the edge of the room, sharpening a blade, not because he needed it sharp, but because he needed his hands to forget, to stay busy, to not feel. Lyra sat cross-legged on the floor, playing with old scraps, wires, buttons, circuits. She was rebuilding the broken communicator, though she hadn't told Cole why. Maybe she didn't know herself. They had barely spoken since the escape. Where did you learn to fix things? Cole asked suddenly, not looking at her. She glanced up, surprised by his voice. I was raised in a junk sector. Tech trash from 20 systems landed there. We either learned to repair it or starved. Cole nodded slowly. Your people don't usually teach girls how to fix things, he said. She smirked. They don't. I stole the knowledge. That made him glance back at her, just for a moment. Good. Silence again. Then she stood and walked to a corner of the shelter, a shelf lined with dusty objects. Old tools, a cracked helmet, a broken photo frame. She picked it up. Inside was a faded picture of Cole in a soldier's uniform, standing with 4 others. One was a woman, one was a boy. This your team? She asked. Cole didn't answer right away. Then he nodded. Was. What happened? He didn't want to tell her, but something in her voice, calm, curious, not cruel, opened the door. We were scouts, he said. Before the main invasion. Sent in to map the cities, gather intel. We didn't expect them. Us, she said quietly. He didn't argue. They dropped biobombs on day 3, he continued. We were near a civilian zone. My team told command we wouldn't leave the locals behind. Orders said move. We stayed. What happened? We died, not all at once, one by one. He turned to face her fully now. I saw my friend melt in front of me. I carried another's body 5 miles before I realized he was already dead. Lyra didn't speak. Cole looked away. I found a shelter, this one. I waited for rescue. No one came. How long were you alone? Cole didn't answer, but his silence told her everything. Lyra gently placed the photo back. And your family? He closed his eyes. Gone before the war. Car crash. My daughter was 5. Lyra's breath caught in her throat. For a long time neither spoke. The only sound was the low hum of the tiny stove. Then Lyra said, Do you hate us? Cole looked up. Sometimes. She nodded, accepting the truth. But I also hate the people who gave us the war in the first place, he added. Some of them were human. That made her look at him again. Maybe hate isn't about species, she said. Maybe it's just survival dressed in anger. Cole didn't respond, but a faint flicker passed through his eyes. Not hope, but maybe the ghost of it. Lyra returned to her work on the communicator. Wires clicked into place. A soft beep echoed from the speaker. The device flickered to life. She stared at it. A new signal was coming through. Not a bounty report, something else. Unknown signal from Resistance Cell Echo 7. Repeat, Echo 7 active. Seeking human survivors. Code word, Phoenix Ash. Her heart skipped a beat. She looked up at Cole. Do you know that code? His eyes widened. That's real, he whispered. I haven't heard Phoenix Ash in years. That was one of our fallback protocols. It means they're still out there? He nodded slowly. It means we're not alone. Lyra smiled for the first time, a real one. Then the smile faded, because the signal repeated, and this time another voice cut in. Warning, bounty alert updated. Target Cole Maddox confirmed alive. Hunter squad inbound. Kill order authorized. Lyra's blood ran cold. She looked at Cole. He had heard it. He stood slowly, eyes burning, face tight. You fixed the device, he said. I didn't call them, she said quickly. I swear. I didn't send anything. His voice was calm. Too calm, but someone did. I stayed with you. I protected you. I didn't. He raised a hand. I believe you. Her breath caught. But it doesn't matter, he added. They're coming now. We have less than a day. What will you do? Cole picked up his rifle. I'm tired of running. Asterisk, the wind howled through the broken tunnels above. Cole stood near the sealed door, checking his weapons in silence. His face was calm, focused, but his eyes were stormy. Lyra sat across from him, knees to her chest, arms wrapped around her legs. The air between them felt heavier than steel. The signal they heard still echoed in her ears. Kill order authorized. She hadn't sent it. But someone had. And now Cole's life was on a countdown. I can help you escape, she offered. He looked at her. Run where? The city's surrounded. They know my scent, my prints, my voice pattern. We're rats in a box now. Lyra stood. Then let's fight. Cole raised an eyebrow. You just learned how to hold a gun yesterday. Her voice stayed steady. Then teach me today. There was something fierce in her eyes. Not pride. Not bravery. Something more dangerous. Regret trying to become redemption. Cole sighed and tossed her a small pulse pistol. Safety switches here. Aim. Breathe. Don't blink. She caught it clumsily, but didn't drop it. Thanks. They trained in. The silence. Cole taught her where to shoot armor, how to set traps, and how to move without being seen. She watched closely, memorizing everything. Hours passed. Then something shifted. As they rested, Lyra turned to him. Why didn't you kill me when you had the chance? He was cleaning his blade. I'm not that kind of human. She nodded slowly. I was, she whispered. Cole looked at her. My people trained me to be useful, she continued. Spy, fix tech, gather intel. Never care. Just complete the mission. His voice was quiet. And what was your mission? When you came here, her lips trembled. I was going to sell you for the bounty. At first, Cole didn't flinch. He didn't move. I never sent the signal, she said again. But when I first saw you, I saw food, money, escape. Not a person. She looked down. But then you fed me. You didn't touch me. You treated me like, she paused. Like I mattered. Cole stood up and walked to the far end of the shelter. For a moment, she thought he might leave. Or shoot her. Instead, he picked something up and brought it back. Small tin box. He opened it and pulled out a folded piece of cloth, old, worn, but clean. Inside was a tiny metal badge. It showed a bird burning in fire, a phoenix. My brother wore this the day he died, Cole said. He trusted someone. They turned him in, took the credits. Then burned the body. Lyra didn't speak. Cole placed the badge on the floor between them. So here's my test. She looked at the badge, then at him. Test? He nodded. In an hour, a supply drone will fly over Sector 4. Same channel as the bounty signal. If you still want to betray me, you can contact them. Say I'm here. Take the deal. They'll come fast. You'll get your escape. She stared at him. In disbelief. You're giving me that choice? Cole met her eyes. Trust is always a choice. And it's always a risk. He stood and walked toward the exit. I'm going above, he said. To set traps. If you're gone when I return, I'll understand. He left. The shelter fell into silence again. Lyra stared at the communicator. Her fingers hovered over the controls. The frequency was already set. One push, and she'd have freedom, food, a life without running, and he had just handed it to her. No locks, no threats. Just trust. Her hands shook. She looked at the badge again. Then she stood up, walked to the fire, and threw the communicator into the flames. It sparked, hissed, and died. Later, when Cole returned, his face was unreadable. He saw the ashes. He saw her. "I chose you," she said simply. He nodded. And then, for the first time since they met, Cole smiled, just a little. But that smile disappeared when the ground shook. Boom. The shelter lights blinked. Another explosion. Closer. Cole ran to the ladder, looked up, then turned to her. "They're already here." "How?" she asked. "Someone else sent the signal," he growled. "Or they tracked the last one." The choice was over. The war was back. He handed her a rifle. "This time we fight together." And in that moment, they were no longer just human and alien. They were survivors. They came before the sun. Lyra heard the rumble first, deep, low, like thunder crawling underground. Then came the tremors. Tiny dust clouds fell from the shelter ceiling. The city above them shook. Cole stood still, eyes closed, listening. "They're using ground pulse tanks," he said. "They're not just hunting. They're cleaning." Lyra tightened her grip on the rifle he gave her. Her hands were steady, now no longer the hands of a starving stray. She had changed. This place had changed her. He had changed her. Cole checked the traps one last time. "There's no more running." "Then we don't run," she said. A flicker of surprise crossed his face, but only for a moment. He handed her a pouch of grenades and motioned toward the side tunnel. "Hold them here. If they breach that wall, don't let them take the room." She nodded. Then Cole turned and walked into the main tunnel alone. The enemy came in metal boots. Armored soldiers with glowing visors marched through the ruins. They moved in silence like machines. Behind them rolled 2 hover tanks, buzzing low, scanning heat signatures. Then one stopped. Beep. A red light blinked on its panel. "Human detected. Heat signal confirmed. Shelter breach in progress." Cole waited. Near the first trap, an old explosive built from a broken mining charge. He counted their steps in his head. 5 seconds. 4.3. Boom. The first soldier was gone, just gone. Metal and dust flew into the air. Screams followed. Then Cole moved, fast and sharp, like lightning in a storm. He wasn't just surviving. Now he was fighting for something. For her. For all the trust she didn't betray. Lyra watched from her position. She saw shadows moving beyond the cracks in the wall. Her heart raced, but not from fear. From purpose. They were coming. She pressed her back against the stone, held her breath, and waited. The wall blew open. 2 soldiers stepped through. Lyra fired. One dropped. The other raised his weapon, but she was already moving. She ducked, rolled, and shot again. The second fell. Smoke filled the tunnel. Lyra coughed, eyes burning. But she didn't stop. She had become more than what her creators made her. She was not a spy, a pawn, or a trade piece anymore. She was something else now, something dangerous. Across the shelter, Cole was bleeding. He'd taken a blast to the shoulder, but he kept fighting. He ducked behind a pillar and threw a grenade. The explosion lit the room an orange dot, then came silence. Only 3 enemies left. Then, Cole Maddox. A voice echoed from a helmet speaker, cold, robotic. "You are ordered to surrender. Your life is already over. The alien cannot save you." Cole coughed, laughed. She's doing just fine. But Lyra wasn't fine. She was cornered now. 2 enemies had flanked her position. One aimed a shock pike at her chest. "Don't move." The soldier hissed. She froze. Her fingers twitched near a grenade on her belt. The soldier stepped. Closer. Closer. Click. The grenade pin dropped. Lyra dove left. Boom. The tunnel shook. Cole turned toward the sound. Heart sinking. Lyra. He ran. Smoke blinded him. Heat pushed against his skin. He found rubble, fire, and her alive. Barely. Her arm was cut, and she was coughing hard, but her eyes were clear. "You okay?" he asked, dropping beside her. "I'm not dead yet." She smiled weakly. "Good," he said. "We're not done." They made their final stand side by side. One magazine left. One grenade. No backup. But they had each other. And they had something the enemy never understood. Will. The last two soldiers rushed in. Cole took one down with a clean headshot. Lyra charged the last, knocked his weapon away, and with a scream that didn't sound like fear or pain, but freedom, she stabbed him through the visor with her blade. He fell. And then nothing moved. No more soldiers. No more orders. Just the sound of fire crackling. And breathing. They had won, but not without cost. Cole sat down, hand pressed against his bleeding side. "You still sure you don't want to take the bounty?" He joked. Lyra looked at him, eyes wet. "I already took something worth more," she said. He raised an eyebrow. "What's that?" She smiled through the smoke. "Your trust." And in that moment, bloody, bruised, and barely alive, they weren't enemies. Not even strangers. They were the beginning of something new. Smoke lingered in the tunnels. The battle was over. The dead lay still. The silence felt loud, too loud. Cole collapsed near the edge of the wall, blood soaking his side. His breathing was slow. His eyes fluttered. Lyra knelt beside him. "Stay awake," she said, pressing her hands against the wound. Her fingers were shaking. "Come on, soldier, don't fall now." "Not after all this." Cole gave a weak smile. "You're bossy when you care," he whispered. "Shut up and bleed slower." She snapped. She looked around. The shelter was burning in places, the med kit destroyed. She had no painkillers, no nanobots, no field foam, but she had him. And that meant she had to try. She dragged him through the smoke. Every step was pain. For him. For her. But she didn't stop. She remembered something he'd told her earlier. A broken medical bay 3 tunnels east, left over from before the fall. Maybe there were tools. Maybe power. Maybe hope. She found it, barely standing, rusted doors, flickering lights, and the smell of dust and old chemicals. She kicked the console. The screen blinked to life. EarthGov. Medbay, limited access mode. AI offline. She laid him on the table. His skin was cold now. "I'm not losing you," she whispered. She started working. Wires, tubes, old medicine. Some of it worked. Some sparked. Some made her cry from frustration, but she kept going. Hours passed. His breathing steadied. She sat beside him, watching the blood fade from his face. She held his hand without thinking. "I don't know why you gave me food," she whispered. "I don't know why you let me stay." She looked at him like he might answer. He didn't. "I used to think humans were monsters," she said softly. "But now I think maybe you're just better at surviving pain." She stood and walked around the medbay. Old files were stored in the back, physical ones, on paper. She flipped through them. Soldiers' reports, maps, codes, and then photos. One of them made her stop. A younger Cole, standing beside a small alien child, not human. Not even her species. A note on the back. "Safe House 3. She's just a kid." Lyra's throat tightened. He had been saving people long before her. Even ones who weren't human. Even when no one was watching. Cole stirred. She rushed to his side. His voice was rough, but clear. "You look like hell." She almost laughed. "You're welcome." He blinked at the lights above him. "You saved me," she nodded. "Why?" He asked. She didn't answer at first. Then she said, "Because you did it first." He closed his eyes. Not from pain, but from peace. They sat in silence for a while. Then she reached into her pocket and handed him the photo she found. "You were helping others before me," she said. "Why?" Cole looked at the photo, then back at her. "I remembered something my daughter once said," he whispered, "before she died." Lyra leaned closer. She sighed. "Helping people doesn't mean they'll help you back. It just means you're still human." Lyra swallowed hard. "You gave me food," she said. But you also gave me something else. What? She took a breath. A choice. Later, while Cole rested, Lyra turned on the comm system. She tuned into the resistance signal again. Phoenix Ash signal confirmed. Resistance cell, Echo 7 online. Survivor check requested. Send ID protocol. She stared at the mic. Her finger hovered over the button. She could speak. Tell them about Cole. About the attack. About their fight. Or she could lie. Hide him again. Keep him to herself. She looked at Cole. Asleep, safe, trusting her again. Then she pressed the button. This is Lyra, ex-engineer, civilian, non-human, one human survivor with me, Cole Maddox. Requesting evac. He's hurt, but he's good. Silence, then a reply. Confirmed. Sending coordinates. Hold position. Human and non-human alliance status accepted. Welcome back, Lyra. Her breath caught. Welcome back, like she'd belonged. Somewhere all along, she walked back to Cole's side, took his hand again. You're not dying yet, she whispered. Rescue's on the way. He didn't answer, but his hand gripped hers, tight. And in that moment, she realized. He gave her more than food. He gave her a name. A future, a place to belong, a gift no one had ever offered before, a human gift. The rescue was late, too late. The signal had been sent. Coordinates locked. The resistance was coming, but so were others. The city above rumbled again. Drones. Lyra looked up through the broken medbay roof. Black machines moved across the sky. Like insects, quiet, watching. Hungry. Cole was awake now, sitting against the wall, bandaged but weak. He saw them too. Scouts, he muttered. They're scanning for us. We have to move, Lyra said. Cole shook his head. I can't run. She clenched her fists. Then we'll fight. He looked at her, something like pride in his eyes. You've changed. No, she said. You just saw what no one else did. They left the medbay. The tunnels were quiet again, the kind of quiet before something breaks. They knew this wasn't over. The bounty on Cole's head hadn't vanished just because he'd earned a little trust. The world didn't work that way, but they did. They moved together, side by side, setting up the last line of defense. Cole limped, but still held his rifle. Lyra checked power cells, traps, exits. I was nothing when I met you, she said quietly. Just a hungry thief. Cole gave a tired smile. And I was just a ghost waiting to die. Lyra looked at him. We gave each other more than food, didn't we? He didn't answer. He didn't need to. The attack began fast. Drones dropped from the sky, cutting through the old tunnels with precision. Red lights flashed, blades buzzed. Soldiers followed, quiet and deadly. But this time, Cole and Lyra were ready. She hit the switch. Boom. Tunnels collapsed behind them, forcing the enemies into a narrow path. Cole took the front, every shot measured, every movement controlled. Lyra moved like a shadow, placing mines, luring them forward, fighting with fire in her blood. She wasn't fighting to survive anymore. She was fighting to protect. Something. Someone. A drone got through. It fired. Cole shoved Lyra out of the way, taking the hit. He fell, hard. Lyra screamed. The world slowed. Everything blurred. Her voice, the blasts, the walls shaking. She crawled to him, blood on her hands again. No, she whispered. Cole looked up at her. His eyes were still bright, still human. Did we win? He asked, smiling weakly. Not yet, she said, gripping his hand. But we will, he coughed. Then go finish it. I'm not leaving you, she said. He gave her a look, soft, full of something stronger than words. You already saved me. Then a sound filled the tunnel. A new hum, not enemy. Not death. It was a ship. Resistance dropship. Small, armored, glowing under the smoke. It hovered above the ruins. A door opened. A voice shouted, "We see you. Move now. 10 seconds." Lyra. grabbed Cole, half carrying him. Heart pounding. She didn't care if her legs gave out. She dragged him to the edge. Bullets hit the ground around her. Sparks flew. A soldier leapt down to help. Together, they pulled Cole into the ship. The door closed. The world below vanished. Lyra sat beside Cole as the ship lifted off. A medic worked on him. Machines beeped. He was alive. Barely. She watched through the small window as the city shrank beneath them. The place where everything changed. Her old life, her old self, burning behind. Her data resistance officer approached. Human, stern face, gray eyes. "You're the alien who made the call?" Lyra stood. "Name's Lyra, and I'm not the same alien." "Who went into that tunnel?" The officer looked her over. "Why'd you help a dying man with a death sentence?" She didn't hesitate. "Because he helped a starving girl without asking for anything in return." The officer nodded once. "You're not enemies now." "No," she said. "We're something better." Later, as the ship flew into the stars, Lyra sat next to Cole's bed. He opened his eyes just a little. "You stayed," he whispered. "Always," she said. "You could have taken the food and run." "I could have," she said softly. "But then I would have stayed hungry." He looked confused. She leaned closer and smiled, a real smile. "You gave me more than just food, Cole. You gave me a reason to live." He closed his eyes again, not from pain, but from peace.